So class, today we are going to study about effluent treatment. Effluent, as we all know, it is a very big problem for the industries. Why? Because whenever a industry is trying to produce its product, during that time period, lot many unwanted side products or the products which are not necessary are also produced. These products which are of no commercial importance for that particular industry and are produced are termed as effluents, and we need to treat them before discharging them into the environment. Why? Because these kind of effluents are generally harmful for the society, for the mankind, and for our ecosystem. So for that we will have to treat this first, then only we can discharge it in order to save our environment. And nowadays we all are very much concerned about our environment. So what are the possible ways in which we can treat our effluents? In our classical times, we used to follow many practices, like we used to use the landfill method. In this particular method, all that kind of waste that we are getting either from our household products or from the industries, we used to completely bury them inside the ground. How? We used to dig a deep hole into the earth, then we used to fill all the inorganic matter into it, and then after that we used to cover it with a thin layer of soil. But time after time we have found out that this kind of technique is not actually beneficial. Why is it not beneficial? Because all the inorganic type of material which are buried down, they are non-biodegradable, and if they are non-biodegradable means they are not going to degrade, and if they are not degrading, they are going to pollute our soil. The fertility of the soil is lost, it will create many kind of problems. So we are not nowadays using this kind of method for non-biodegradable kind of disposable treatments. Why? Because it is creating problem. Other classical methods used to include things like that we used to discharge our chemical treatment directly into the water bodies. This was also a very big trouble. Nowadays we are in order to save our rivers like Ganges, the Ganga, the Yamuna, these are all getting polluted due to this kind of practices. So we are now also trying to reduce this kind of practices, or rather we first detoxify all those chemical pollutants, then only we are going to discharge them into the river. So what are the other possible methods which we can use for the effluent treatment? These are classified into the three categories. The first one is physical method, which utilizes all the physical factors by which we can dispose of our toxic part of the effluent, or either we can convert it into non-toxic materials. The next one is chemical method, which uses the chemical tendencies to treat our effluents. The third one is biological method. In the biological method, we directly use digesters, which are more commonly called as fermenters in biotechnology. So what are the physical methods? These are filtration, sedimentation, and sanctification. We are all familiar with these three terms. How filtration is taking place? We have a filter, it simply has got sieves of particular pore size. We pass out our chemicals through this. The particles which are larger in size of that particular filter will remain behind the filter, and they will form a cake, and the rest of the effluent will be treated off. The filtrate can be further removed from this. Next method is sedimentation. What is sedimentation? The particles, we allow actually the effluent to stand in a particular vessel. All the particles which are denser in their density will settle down. This particular technique is sedimentation. It is very cheap to conduct for the purpose of effluent treatment or effluent disposal. Next is centrifugation. Centrifugation requires an instrument that is centrifuge. It is very costly in comparison to other techniques. Next is chemical method. What is chemical method? The first chemical method is coagulation. What is coagulation? In this particular method, we use coagulant compounds. Coagulant compounds basically increase the affinity of particular molecules towards each other. They are going to attach, they are going to adhere to each other, and once they are adhering, they can either be precipitating down or they can be removed after that. Next is flocculation. What is flocculation? In this particular technique, we use flocculating agents, which again increases their tendency to adhere among themselves, and once the small molecules adhere to each other, they are going to build up large flocks. These flocks can thereafter settle down, and once they settle down, they can again be precipitated in various methods. The last method is digester. What is digester? Digester is another name of a bioreactor. Why are we calling it as digester? We are calling it as digester just because this particular reactor is going to perform the function of digestion. How is it going to perform the function of digestion? It is directly going to digest the larger biomolecules into the smaller ones, or the larger organic compounds into the smaller ones. Also, it is going to use microbes. On the basis of the type of microbes, we have two particular types of digesters. The first one is aerobic digester and the other one is anaerobic digester. In the aerobic digester, we are directly going to provide the conditions in which oxygen is present, and oxygen is present in the ample amounts. How is it going to help? All those kind of molecules which survive in the aerobic condition are going to digest that particular waste products that are present into the effluent. And once these are being digested, they are converted into less toxic and less harmful substances which can be readily liberated into the environment. Those particular microbes are selected and are used for aerobic digestion. Next is anaerobic digestion. Anaerobic digestion is nowadays very much common. Why? Because the end products which are produced are also useful to us. How? We have certain classes of microbes like methanogenic microbes. These are used to produce gases like they are actually used for production of various important products. Like we have methane gas, can be used for cooking purposes in our biogas plant, and at last whatever is left behind, it can be used as organic manures for our farms. So in both the ways, it is going to be beneficial for the humankind. So these are the three techniques which are used for effluent treatment nowadays.